Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I have come across comments, well, one big one, but other small ones, that implied that what I am doing as a YouTuber is shilling and pushing people towards investing. That my whole goal and point is to just get people to invest in magic, and that is what I'm doing here, which is really interesting because I really thought that I did a decent job communicating that I actually prefer flipping, and I would push you more towards flipping than I would push you towards investing, but maybe not. And so that's why I want to take this opportunity to introduce myself, to clear the air, to make my intentions well known so that, if we're going to have any kind of relationship, you can know where I'm coming from, what my goals are, etc. So first off, hi, my name's Nick. I run a company called Capital Catalyst. And here at Capital Catalyst, our goal is to be a capital, which is like money, catalyst, which is a chemistry word for speeding up a reaction or something that speeds up a reaction. So the idea here at Capital Catalyst is we help you make money faster. Now, before I come up with something even more slimy to say, let me back up and just level with you, which is that I sell trading cards. I could show you those are my notes for what I'm going to talk about, but this is what I have done on my beautiful weekend, is just packing these trading cards. And I have made good money from packing and shipping trading cards. I'd show you the other side. There's secret layers in some of these. There's $50 cards in some of these. There's a lot of $1 whatever cards in some of these. I should stop playing with these in case an address flips over or whatever. But I'm not just a guy who's just talking about something that I don't know anything about, or that's trying to offload all of the money-making capacities in my life onto my YouTube viewers. I'm a guy who is doing the thing that he is actively talking about, which gives me a lot more credibility, right? Which is cool. That's where I want to be, is having some kind of credibility. But that being said, I am not the best at it or doing the most of it or whatever. What I am doing is sharing what I know and kind of documenting what I've learned and what I do on my day-to-day. I do a lot of flipping. I do very little investing. I do a lot of buying low, selling high, buying collections at 70% and selling the cards in them. And it is fun. It is fun to document that and share with you the tips and tricks that I have that can hopefully be a catalyst to your ability to make capital, to make money. I really hope that something I share with you, you're able to take advantage of and make money from. One of my favorite comments is somebody saying hey, I took advantage of the Lord of the Rings opportunity, right? When Lord of the Rings commander deck sets got all the way down to 180, and then now they're back to 240 plus or whatever. And I love that. I love to hear that. That is the goal. And I suppose by me sharing my opinions on stuff and encouraging people to buy things, that leaves me liable to criticism when things don't go right, right? But you can be assured this, which is that when I said that I bought a bunch of Lord of the Rings Commander deck sets, that I did. And if they didn't perform well, they wouldn't have performed well for me too. And so whatever that's worth. One thing I also like to point out is that some people have commented, especially on my code and stuff, right? So I wrote this beautiful script, and I call it beautiful, but it's really quite jinkety. But I wrote this code that can help get you the prices of Commander deck sets from TCG Player, their TCG Low or TCG Market. And somebody commented and said hey, this is really cool. This is the kind of thing I would expect to be on a Patreon. So thanks for sharing it for free. And to that I say, you're welcome, because this is the philosophy. Now, I do fully intend on making money. I wish I could monetize everything that I do always, but I'd have no friends. And I like having friends. I don't want to monetize my friends, put it that way. But my belief of a kind of strategy for monetizing, so to speak, comes from this kind of jab, right hook. This kind of, I actually haven't read this book, but I have been told about it by people who I deeply respect in the YouTube space. And basically what the thesis is that if you want to be successful in social media, you need to have a lot of jabs before you do a hook. And jabs are free value. So as someone on social media, if you want to be successful, you need to provide free value, free value, free value, free value, free value. And then someday you might get the chance to like monetize, to do something where it's like, hey, you should pay money for this or whatever. And we're not there yet. Now, that being said, I post my website below where I try to price things under market price, and hopefully it's a good deal for you. I do save money on fees because it's selling on my website. I post links to Amazon below. If you buy those things on Amazon, I've almost made $100 from Amazon affiliate links. Pretty cool. And that'll be the first money that I make from this YouTube adventure, which is not nothing. And I'm super happy actually with how the channel's performed and where I'm at. I'm giddy about over 300 subscribers. I think that is incredible. I taught classes when I was in college. I helped teach classes. And if you had a room of 300 people, if I get a video and 200 people watch it, that is so many people. and I know in terms of YouTube, it's not, right? It's like, well, this big YouTuber gets this many views, but like, let's be honest, like, let's just take a second. 200 views is a lot. If 200 people watch you for 5 minutes in a day as part of their day, you're pretty, you're not like the biggest part of their day, obviously, but you're like a part of their day. It's kind of a big deal. And that's the way I see it. And for me, that's rewarding enough. It's okay if I never make a cent, but obviously, like, as I hope to provide value and value and value and value, at some point, monetization comes, but none of that has to do with encouraging people to invest. That's the confusing thing, is I'm thinking like, all my secret evil scalper plans for my business and my life, encouraging people to invest in magic was not what I wanted to be at the forefront. If I want to encourage people to do anything, I don't think investing is actually like the best choice. And because maybe I need to just make this very clear. Investing is great if you already have a ton of money, but if you already have a ton of money, then like, congratulations, right? And that's not quite fair to say, because you can invest a little bit over years, right? And then it becomes a lot of it as time goes on. But I don't know. I don't know if I in good faith can say like, hey, Magic's been successful for 30 years. I know it's going to be successful for 30 more. Like, we don't know that. I think that's true. I believe that. But we don't know that. I mean, people 20 years ago, if you asked them what would be happening to the price of like Black Lotus in the year 2020 to 2026, everyone would have told you the price would go up, 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 as scarcity. I mean, it just makes sense, right? The scarcity argument has not been holding true when it comes to vintage trading cards and Pokemon and Magic. So there's just a lot of unknowns. There's a lot. I think investing in Magic is extremely risky. It's also very fun. The flipping thing in my mind is more guaranteed money. You get in, you get the bag, you flip it and you get out. And that to me feels like more guaranteed. So, clearing the air on that. But what's the point? The point is I am an influencer by virtue of making YouTube videos and being out there. You're going to influence. What I'm hoping to influence you towards is making money. If I influence you to do anything that doesn't make you money, that is to some degree a failure on my part. And if I'm able to influence you and give you tips and tricks and ideas that helps you make money, especially in the Magic space, is what I'm talking about, but like in any space in your life, that is a win. It's not a zero-sum game. One really interesting thing, and maybe I'll end on this, with when you study economics, is this realization that economics and the economy is not a zero-sum game. The fact that somebody is a billionaire does not mean that it's harder for you to become a billionaire. Now, if like there's something to be said of monopolies and consolidation of wealth and things like that. But generally speaking, in free markets where there isn't monopolistic powers and whatever, it's not a zero-sum game. Someone winning can be a major opportunity for you to win also. And a rising tide really does lift all boats. And so in this space of Magic the Gathering, where we're nerds that are collecting and buying and have opportunities to sell, the way I see it is that if we can all get better at this game of selling Magic, we can all win. We can all do good. I know that there's like, well, how are you going to scalp things if everyone else is scalping it? And it's like, yeah. I'm not really concerned about that. I'm really not. I want as many people out there to be doing the things that I'm doing right now that's making me money as possible. And I know that there's not even, you can talk on YouTube all you want about all these good ideas. And I know a lot of people won't follow them, and that's okay. But for the people that do, I hope you do, and I hope you're successful. That's the point. That is what I'm trying to do with this channel. So thanks for watching, and subscribe. Anyways, have a great night.